How's everyone doing today? Good, good. Thank you for making it out. It's going to be a pretty fun class after some of you have already gotten started with our speaker this morning. But I want to thank you all for joining us. I know the weekends are busy, so for you to take your time out of your busy schedule to join us with this class, it's a lot. We are KupunaWiki. We are Hawaii's senior resource. What we do is we're a resource for seniors and their families. And we started off, Calvin and I, my partner over there, we're actually realtors, full-time realtors. And how we got started is that, over time, we built up a vast network of resources or partners that we refer our clients to. We noticed that a lot of our clients needed help connecting to service professionals. And so we built up this network, and we thought, well, why don't we make it available to the general public? And so that's how KupunaWiki got started 4.5 years ago. And so since then, we hold these monthly classes at different locations, senior housing locations, just to give an opportunity for the public to not just attend a class and learn about the topic, but also explore the facility itself. So usually what happens is we have a tour of the facility after the presentation. And so this would be the same here if anyone is interested in having a look. So we have the summer classes. We also have our radio, which we started just over a year and a half ago as well. Just another way of us getting our partners into the public. So you can hear them on the radio. In fact, on the weekends is when it airs, and you all should have a flyer of our schedule. But I encourage you to tune in if you want to get to know our providers. Every week is going to be a different topic. So we have those weekly radio sessions, our monthly class seminars. It's just our way of getting out there and reaching out to everyone. So today I want to bring up our speaker, Anthony Chrisco. He and his wife are co-authors of 3 #1 bestsellers on the ebook category, Pain-Free Every Day. Yeah? Okay, good.
3 categories, not 3 books.
3 categories, yes. 3 categories.
Medicine, rehabilitation, and similar topics.
Yes. So, very excited to have them on today, and they're going to talk to us about pain-free living. And so, without further ado, I'm going to bring up Anthony Chrisco.
Good morning. All right. Well, as it says here on the screen, my wife and I, we invented a roller. It's called the Fascinator. It is not a foam roller, and there's a lot of differences involved with it. We're also founding members of the Fascia Research Society. That was an organization that was established in the year 2012. It was also the same year your fascia, this connective tissue under your skin and around your nerves and through all your organs, was classified as the largest organ of your body. So you may have thought, I thought the skin was the largest organ. That was the old wisdom. And 7 years since they classified it as an organ, we're still teaching people that it's the largest organ. And just so you have an understanding, we rolled out 96 doctors for Kaiser Hospital at their request to teach them about fascia. And guess what? When I asked these surgeons, I'm like, who can tell me what the fascia does? And they're like, I cut it all in. But they didn't know the function. Well, what if I told you tight fascia can squeeze your nerves, arteries, veins, and lymphatic vessels with 2,000 pounds of pressure per square inch? That's where you get neuropathy, the numbness and tingling of an unknown nature, as the doctors will say, right? Well, let's go ahead and just get moving on this presentation. What is fascia? Okay, fascia is woven into every other structure in our body in one continuous strand from head to toe. So think about the yarn in a sweater. You ever rip a sweater here? The thread comes out, but it cinches up over here. Well, if your knee hurts, is it your knee, or is it those tight quads and hamstrings and inner thighs causing the knee pain? Similar to that sweater. It's a type of covering or sheet that helps with fluid flow and gliding of muscles between each other. So this gliding of the muscles, have you noticed as each year goes on, Maybe you used to pop out of bed, and now you kind of go, ooh. Maybe you roll out of bed, or maybe you wait. Okay? Well, when we stimulate your fascia, it produces this liquid called hyaluronic or hyaluronic acid. Okay? Guess what hyaluronic acid does for your tissues? Thank you. It's like WD-40 in all your moving parts. Okay? It's also involved with arteries, nerves, veins, lymphatic vessels, muscles, organs, and everything. Now, you see this image here? If I was eating a top sirloin, right, big piece of meat, what if I pulled some of that meat apart? What is that silvery, sinewy tissue? I'll give you a hint. It starts with an F. It's your fascia. Okay? And most people, raise your hand. Have you ever heard of fascia until today? Ruth, I know you have, but what about the rest of you? Have you ever heard about it? Some contractor, well, I've heard of the fascia, the stuff on front of my house. Okay, your fascia, again, is the largest, most densely woven organ system in your body. Now, who's ever dealt with chronic pain issues like fibromyalgia, okay, or myofascial pain syndrome, right, or from injuries, okay? Should I give you a muscle relaxer for your fascial pain? How about a cortisone shot? How about a spinal fusion? How about an epidural? Okay, because that's what they're doing, true or false. Okay. Well, let's go down to the next slide. These are two images of fascia at the microscopic level. So, if I took a sample of your muscle, like a biopsy of tissue, and I look under the microscope. So, this is 1 millimeter, okay? That's your scale. And what you're looking at is all the fascia around every individual muscle fiber. That's all these little holes, and then these larger canals is more fascia around the bundle of fibers. Okay, so you can really see that this fascia is pervasive. Yes. Now, if I zoom in, this is 20 microns or 20 millionths of a meter. What you see are empty honeycomb-shaped spaces, right? Well, guess what they did? They took that muscle tissue sample. They dipped it in sodium hydroxide. You might know it as lye. And what does lye do to your skin? It melts it, right? So they melted the proteinaceous tissue out from this tissue sample, and they pulled the sample out, and guess what's left? All the fascia that was wrapping that muscle. So how many of you guys have ever peeled an orange, and every orange is in the perfect wedge? What is that thin membrane of the orange keeping it in a wedge? There's the pit, the zip, and the rind. You're right. So it's those thin membranous areas that provide the nutrients for the orange to become so juicy. It's the fascial sheaths within your body's compartments that allows your cells to get nutrients for healing. And I'll give you an example, okay? I'm still kind of young, but you see this here? I'm not even warmed up. This is cold. It's not there. Well, what I'm doing that for is to show you I'm a product of my process. I do what I tell people to do, because if I don't, I'm going to be another statistic of westernized allopathic medicine. You guys understand my point? Okay. And some of you were not here earlier, but I lost my mother at the age of 52 to ovarian cancer. They told her she had gas. They gave her Zantac for her distended belly that had tumors that had already spread to her intestines. She never met my children. Okay? So this is why we do these things, because you're my mother, 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 and you're my mother. Right? Because that's what I'm dealing with. Okay? So, if we move on, here's some facts about this tissue, this organ of yours. It's classified as an organ in 2012. So in science, is 7 years a long time in science? Merely a flash in the pan. And for 7 years, guess how many people have said, "You're crazy, no one's going to believe you." Okay? Well, they don't say that now. Now we travel all over the world teaching doctors and therapists and physiotherapists and massage therapists and yoga instructors and acupuncturists. We are the fascia authorities here. Okay? Now, this fascia also holds 4 gallons of water in your body. So raise your hand. How many of you could probably drink more water, but you just don't get there? How many of you? And it's okay. And some people say, but I don't like to go pee all the time. Well, what if I told you if we loosen the bladder fascia, your bladder can expand more, you can drink more, you can hold more urine instead of having to go every hour? That water gets utilized, and you can sleep through the night instead of waking up after the first hour. Okay? I have seniors in their 80s who had 7 laparoscopic surgeries in their belly, full of scar tissue, wakes up every half hour to go pee. Okay, for 3 years. We rolled him, I taught him how to do it. He lives right down the street here. After 5 weeks, he's sleeping 5 hours straight. Now, if he's 85 and wasn't sleeping at all, and now he's sleeping 5 hours straight, guess what? He's still going. He just celebrated 88th birthday and 60th wedding anniversary. He's still going. So these are the reasons we're here. Now, this fascia is also the most neurologically active tissue in the body, meaning if you have pain, it's not your muscles, it's not your bones, it's your fascia. Your fascia has about between 6 to 10 times more of these pain receptors than your muscles. Okay? 6 to 10 times more. So have you ever had people like, oh, don't touch me, everything is tight, and when it's tight, it's sensitive. Like when you had your injuries, I bet it was shiny, don't touch it, right? If I loosen it, and you're an athlete, feel how pliable my tissue is. But if I make a muscle, it's a muscle. But it shouldn't be like this all the time. But it also shouldn't be just not active, right? So that's why this fascia is so important. It is what is vital for growth and support. Kind of remember the orange wedge, the white stuff is what brings the nutrients so the orange can be juicy. The fascia is what brings the nutrients to replenish your muscles and your nerves and your arteries and your veins and your lymphatic vessels, okay? It is also where disease is allowed to manifest. So let's think about that. See the gutters here outside? What if those gutters were clogged with trees and dirt and debris? Would the wastewater leave the structure, or would it rot the structure? Well, what do you think cancer is doing in your underarm and through your breasts and where your prostate is? If you're tight here and you're tight here, your gutters aren't flowing. Does that make sense? And I like to use the word fester. The cellular waste is festering in your body, causing inflammation, swelling, changing of the joints, changing of the mechanics, and they're giving you a pill for this, a pill for that, a pill for the side effects of the other pills that you took. Right? Okay. Now, I said it earlier, your fascia can exert 2,000 pounds of pressure per square inch on your nerves. So have any of you dealt with that numbness and tingling right before bed? You don't know why your hand's cold, and your knuckles are changing colors, or you have varicose veins here, or your ankle's all swollen with edema. Have you ever seen people with cankles? And what does the doctor do? He gives you water pills to make you lose the water. And then your heart gets troubled because it doesn't have the right amount of electrolytes for proper functioning. True or false? PhD author, 5 books. Okay, I just want confirmation. Okay, now, your fascia behaves like a sponge. So if I have a sponge and it's sitting on my windowsill in the sun, what will that sponge do as it dries up? It's all hard and it's not pliable, right? Well, did I bring my sponge? I did not. Well, within this sponge, you have arteries, veins, nerves, and lymphatic vessels, and they travel from your center of your body through your thigh. You can actually put your thumb in a hole right in your thigh. This is where your aorta dives into your thigh and becomes the femoral artery. I have students in their 70s. They used to have blood clots here because they weren't moving enough. We roll this stuff out. We're laying on the floor. I have classes all over the island. 2 months later, the doctor remeasures the occlusion with ultrasound imaging. 20% decrease of the blood clot without blood thinners. And for me, the best thing is when my students say, Anthony, the doctor said instead of seeing me every 3 months, he goes, your blood work is normal, I'll see you in 1 year. That's success to me, okay? Now, when we roll the tissue, I'll just give you an example. For example, my feet, plantar fasciitis. Have you ever heard of that? Should I give you custom orthotics or should I activate the tissue and make it pliable and clean out my gutters.
Depends on if you want to make money.
That's right. Well, I don't make money, I change lives. And people have told me that. They said, Anthony, you're not going to make money to giving everyone the secret. Well, I'm rich here. I don't care about that other junk. You understand? If you made it this far, this is what's important. I know billionaires, and guess what? They can't even put their own clothes on. They have 3 nurses 24/7. That's not living, right? Okay. Now, moving on. Here's the old paradigm, and maybe you've been down that road. Current Western practices treat symptoms of pain instead of the root cause. Is that true or false, would you say?
Oh, so true.
Okay. Pills, shots, and basic procedures with a myopic focus on the what is hurting as opposed to why it is hurting. Would you agree with that? Okay. Oh, it's your knee? Let's look at your knee. No, it's all the muscles around my knee. And have you seen my patella? Look at that. Feel. You have to feel how free that knee. Go ahead, try that. Just go push it. Don't worry, it won't fall off. All the way. Okay? This is normal. People would tell me, you're not normal. But I'm telling you, this is what happens if you play on your roller every day. Right? How many of you guys used to have dogs or still have pets? Do you have dogs, cats? Okay. Wouldn't your dog love for you to rub his belly and scratch his neck and pet him every time you were near him? He's really saying, Mom, rub my fascia. And I'll tell you why. Right? Anyways, ask yourself, is this system of what the doctors are doing now working for the masses? Is it? How many times have you gone to the doctor and they're an hour behind already? Okay? And then you have to wait 2 weeks to get to the specialist. The system is inundated and flooded because it's not working. They're shooting a squirt gun on fire. Yeah? Okay. Now, so what we say is don't wait for your body to tell you that something is wrong. Maintain your tissues and they will maintain you. Right? How many of you guys ever wait till your roof is leaking before you fix the roof? Don't answer that, some of you. Right? It's about maintenance, but which house is more important? The house you live in or the house you live in? Okay? So, let's go moving on. Where's this information coming from? Everyone likes to have data. Well, this information is coming from the International Congress of Fascial Research. It was established in the year 2007. And Robert Schleip, he's a friend of mine. He's in my movie that I told you I went to Germany, and the filmmaker from Hamburg followed me around during my dissection project, and she said, I'm going to make your movie. This is amazing what you're doing. And guess what? She learned about me from her German friend here. She says, oh, he's coming to Berlin. You should go find him. And she found me. Okay. Thomas Findlay, he's the director of research for the Rolfing Institute of Structural Integration. So have you guys ever heard of Rolfing or deep tissue massage? Okay, Ida Rolf started the whole process of Rolfing. She was about 60 years ahead of every doctor ever. She was the one that said your fascia is what causes tight fascia in the belly of the muscle, causes pain at the distant attachments. So if my shoulder or elbow hurt, it's not my shoulder or the elbow that should get the cortisone. It's my bicep and tricep that should be released. Carpal tunnel, it's your forearm flexors. Knee problems, it's your quads. Back problem, it's your hamstring. Sciatica, it's your butt. Okay? Leon Chaitau, he's also a doctor of osteopathic medicine in London. And Peter Huijing is a professor emeritus at the Functionality of the Locomotor System Research Institute in Amsterdam. So, this is international, it's not just America. As you know, America is still trying to shake off the opioid addictions, right? Did you see NPR the other day? 73 billion OxyContin pills released into the United States over 6 years from 2006 to 2012. That's a damn shame. That's what I think. Okay? So, let's move on. Here, this is Dr. Roger White. He was a cardiologist at Straub for 40 years. Okay? And he wrote me my first, what's the word? Endorsement. And here's what he wrote. The care and maintenance of one's myofascia is very important to maintaining flexibility and reducing chronic pain. It has long been an area in physical bodywork that has been under-evaluated and under-treated. This presentation by Anthony is a very valuable addition to fill that gap in our knowledge. The information is clearly presented and provides practical demonstrations that people can use with the Fascinator, shameless plug, to maintain optimal functioning of the myofascia. Now this is why you came. Maintaining one's myofascial integrity is important to maintain quality of life, particularly with aging. And he says at the end, I highly recommend a review of this program for both therapists and patients. I got that first endorsement, I was saying, I think I'm going to be doing something good for the world, because I didn't know, I knew he was a cardiologist, but you know what I didn't know? I didn't know that he was the editor of the Journal of Cardiology and Preventive Medicine. So what does that mean? He's the one who says, no, yes, garbage. So for this guy, who has this keen eye for new information, who's the one who says it either goes in the journal or it doesn't, he said that about my stuff. And that, to me, I was like, remember when I got it, I was like dancing around the house, okay? So, and yes, we teach this to physical therapy clinics. We do in-services for them. You guys know Triplet Army Hospital? They've been teaching my class there for 5 years in their interdisciplinary pain management clinic for the troops after the bombs in Afghanistan. Those are my friends. You know, the best part of working with the veterans, they say to me, they're like, Anthony, before I met you, I didn't feel like a man. I couldn't walk, I couldn't take care of my family, my back hurt so much, I couldn't function. And now they cry, and they're like, I feel like a man again. You know what that feels like? My father was a Vietnam veteran. There's my mom right there, she's from Saigon. They got married in 1967 in Saigon. Right, so I'm an actual war story, living testament to love, I guess. But that's the whole idea, is we're helping people, okay? So, next, there's my Fascinator. This is some early stuff. This process was developed over a course of about 9 years, and it's a comprehensive, full-body self-myofascial release approach. So, question, if my mouth hurts, which tooth should I brush? Because isn't that what they do with the doctor? Oh, it's your knee? Let's just work on that one leg. True or false? Don't you think we should work on the whole structure in a holistic approach? Because isn't that how the body is put together? And again, that's why things aren't working in the Western allopathic approach. All right? Now, we also developed a methodology. That's the thing. It's not just a thing, there's a process. So, this process covers about 52 areas in your body, and we start from the feet, we go through the calves, into the tibialis and the fibularis, so you don't get shin splits when you're running. Have you ever seen any of your friends, it's like as they got older, the legs started getting more and more bowed out, and the hips are stiffer, so now they're walking like this. I see it every day. That's called the banana calf, and it's because these become the IT band, and when all this is tight, it causes it to bow out. And if you have a valgus and that competing, then you got really bad issues in knees, ankles, and hips. Yes? Okay, now let's move on. These are some actual testimonials. This gentleman, he's in his 70s. Okay, I'll just read it real fast. Anthony, note to say thank you. As you know, I've had spinal fusion, rotator cuff, fundoplication, and 7 other surgeries in the past 5 years. Fundoplication is an intestinal surgery. Okay? Since working with you, I seem to be walking taller with shoulders straight and head held up instead of like this. Okay? More importantly, no neck pain, no shoulder pain, no low back pain, and sciatica pain kept in check. I feel my body getting stronger the past few months, especially my core, neck, shoulders, and low back with the exercises you prescribe. Okay? Val Torikawa, fibromyalgia sufferer. She was only 52. She would get on the Stairmaster for 10 minutes and couldn't walk for 3 days after because it was just too much pain. I told her to take my class. She took the class. She says right here, I could already tell something was different. My body was falling apart. My husband claimed that I needed to exercise, but I couldn't because every part of my body was so poor because most of my days were spent behind a desk or a computer or behind the wheel. Sound familiar, guys? Okay, a 10-minute, where is it at? A 10-minute exercise on an elliptical kept me in pain for days. Between the daily doses of ibuprofen for my headaches, creaking knees, carpal tunnel, sciatic pain, the pseudo expansion from my sinus allergy problems, and the increase in blood pressure from all the meds, I was beginning to accept that it was only downhill from here. Okay? Because of what you have taught, I am so ecstatic to say that in the last 9 weeks I've taken 1 pill. So all her pills were gone because she gets on that roller. Okay? And that was when we had the heavy vlog. No more meds for headaches, sciatic pain, carpal tunnel, or creaking sore knees. The numbness and tingling in my hands still occurs every now and then, but nowhere near what it used to be. My husband says I'm a different person. Okay? And we have a whole bunch of other ones. This guy, his bald spot filled in. Okay? I gotta read, and that's it. Okay, this guy is the head strength and conditioning coach at Idaho State University. So yes, I have Division I colleges that use my process too. So this is good for kids, for athletes, for seniors, for moms and dads who are still trying to raise their families. Okay? Now, any questions? Here, I'll quiz you guys. Where's your fascia? And what does it do? I saw you taking notes. What does it do? Remember, the point of this presentation is that if you leave this room and you remember one thing about your fascia, then I've done my job.
Nourishes and lubricates.
Thank you very much. Okay. Now, we also teach classes at Down to Earth. I have a class next Saturday on the King Street location. You have to register with them, and it's always sold out for the last 4 years. So make sure you try and go to their events page on their website and register if you want to try the class. I do private appointments as well if you have specific things you want to contend with. We also do classes in the Honolulu Club. So if you ever are there, I can get you a guest pass to try the class out for free. But the whole idea is if you can learn to take care of this amazing organ system, it'll take care of you back. Yes, ma'am?
I had a question. What's the difference between that roller and the one that you get from the physical therapist?
Well,
The bigger one.
it's not a foam roller. And the other ones that they sell are 6 inches in diameter and they're soft. Some of the knots that you carry in your body are harder than the implement you're trying to use to make them go away. So have you ever used his dull razor to shave your legs? It's the same idea. Okay, now, we have a couple of minutes left. I would like to show you the difference right now on your shoulder blade, on the top of your shoulder. Watch how her face changes. See, feel how tight that is. And feel how tight this is on her. See how tight? I will roll it back and forth a few passes. When you feel it in, it'll be softer. And why? When we roll the tissue, it starts sucking up more fluid. So the hard sponge becomes more pliable. So watch, I'll move your hair, and I'll just press down, and tell everyone what that feels like. That's right. It's relaxing. Now watch. I'm not pushing hard, am I? I'm waiting for the tissue to tell me when it's ready to let go. And that's what we have to do. You're basically hijacking your musculoskeletal tension system. And by doing so, it starts to relax.
It's also sore.
Now watch, push it. It's softer. True or false? It got a little softer. Yeah. And it's not tender when he touches it, is it?
No.
Okay. Well, let's do the other side. Don't want you leaving out here crooked. We'll go there. And that's the thing is, you don't need me. You need you. But
You do this yourself.
yeah, absolutely. I'll show you some ideas. I know you're already ready to go. You're gonna be my rabbit. Okay. Now, which side feels more tender, left or right?
Right.
Okay. But now, when you shrug your shoulders, doesn't that feel looser?
Oh, yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, sure.
You mean I didn't plant you here, now, did I? Okay. May I roll on your shoulders as you go? Okay. See, hers is also very tight. And tell everyone what you feel. Ooh. It's bumpy. And what is that bumpy stuff? They're calcium deposits in your tendons and in your fascia. And we have to break it up so you don't have chronic pain. Now, we'll go to the other side. But notice it's soft. Feel that now? Compared to that one. You can feel it, right? Either you feel what I'm talking or I'm just a slick salesman. And it's funny. What if I told you one of my colleagues discovered the signaling molecule in the fascia of your brain that's responsible for stem cell proliferation? And if you stimulate it, you can grow some brain cells back, nerve cells, and blood vessel cells. It's called angiogenesis, nucleogenesis, and neurogenesis. Now, you're a PhD. I know you know some of those things. Okay? Doesn't that feel amazing?
I don't know how I can do it myself.
I'll show you right now. So, in our process, you do your feet, and we do our calves. If you can't lift your body, you can just turn left and right, and just like do cross-fiber massage. You can do it yourself. I roll up to my hamstring. It's so simple, it's ridiculous. Okay, I go to my glutes if I want to get rid of that sciatica. If I can't cross my leg, I can go here. And if I want that upper back, like I was showing you, I'm going to here. You lift your hips up and you turn. That's it. If I get my shoulders, purge my lymph nodes in my underarm, I'm still laying on the floor. And that's it. It's not that hard at all. If I want to get rid of my carpal tunnel syndrome, I use the edges. If I want to get rid of my trigger finger and my tennis elbow, I would get the forearm extensor. If I want to increase my digestion and get rid of my constipation and increase the pliability of my bladder, I roll on my belly on the soft spaces. I have reports of women, cancer survivors, and diabetes patients who take the pill that makes you lose all that water. They report to me rabbit-sized pellets of poo. Okay? And after that first rolling class, the next day, 12 to 18-inch long bowel movements. And people are like, well, how did they measure it? And I said, they use 3.14. But why would a pristine, beautiful senior citizen go, Anthony, you were right. It was sticking out of the water. What would compel them to tell me about the size of their bowel movement? You know what would compel them? Because they're free. Okay? So you can have, if you had your druthers, which would you prefer? Picking up 5 prescriptions at CVS drive-thru, or playing on your roller every night and every day and going for that walk and having all that free time instead of waiting in a room full of sick people? Have you been there too? Don't you hate that? I haven't been to the doctor in 10 years. My resting pulse is 49. Okay? I don't know what else to tell you. But we have to leave in about 10 minutes because we have another big event on Wylie, 10th Avenue at a Pilates place. There's 21 people waiting for us there. We just did a big workshop last night, 32 people at the Melaleuca store by the airport. So we are here for you. I'll give you guys all our cards. My wife, just so you know, she's a cellular biologist by trade. She worked with the 2009 Nobel Prize winner for medicine in breast cancer research. Have any of you heard of the telomeres?
Yeah.
That's who her doctor was, Elizabeth Blackburn.
Wow.
Okay, telomeres are the things that shorten in your DNA, and when you have shortened telomeres in your DNA, you have cell death or apoptosis. Rolling your fascia can increase the telomere length, thus improving the length and quality of your life. Any other questions? And yes, she just released her first book. It's called Pain Free Every Day. It's about our process and our story. We met when we were 9 years old. We were gifted and talented children, meaning we were like this, hyperactive. This is before Ritalin. And she ignored me all the way through high school. And I chased her, and at 22 years old, I got her. And we've been married for 21 years now, 2 children, and that's why I have white hair, so young. 2 teenagers with broken ears. That's about right? Okay, any other questions, you guys? Now, Ruth, we did have one. I know you wanted to get one, so we got one for you. If you guys decide to get one, it comes with a 26-page manual that we would download, but I'm going to give you this one so you don't have to download anything. Okay, and then we do have these gua sha scrapers, so this helps with your fingers, with your wrists, with your ankles, with your elbow, with your face. I do this when I'm driving. Okay, and you can get the nerves under your tissue. You can get your masseter muscle for TMJ. You can get your temporalis muscle, so you don't get temporal aneurysms in that temporal artery. You know what I'm talking about? You can roll all along your platysma. Get where the tongue is. You can get all